Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen the highlights, you've heard the rumors, but now it's time to get the real scoop. We pull back the curtain on the world of sports entertainment and give you the unfiltered truth. From the biggest pay-per-views to the latest shocking headlines, you're locked in for the ultimate wrestling discussion. This is Between the Ropes, only on the Empty the Bench Network. Now, here's your host, Kristie Wilson.
Everybody, welcome to a new episode of Between the Ropes. I'm your host. My name is Kristie Wilson, and it is ironically, look out my window. Yeah, it's wet, it's rainy, and that's besides the point. Welcome to the show. I hope everyone enjoys the show. Here we go. Taking care of business at hand. There is the ticker scrolling across your screen there, as well as other things as well. You follow the show, follow this network. You can follow, of course, me, all of that good stuff. And, of course, follow Between the Ropes at BTRETB on social media. Here's the big one, of course. It's youtube.com/ETB network. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. And, of course, the weekend's almost over, but the conversation is just heating up. Kick back in the ETB lounge with Callum McClurg and Nick DiMartino every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Join us for a 3-hour live format where we unite the full panel of ETB hosts to break down a pivotal day in sports. From the prestige narratives of major championships and MLB afternoon slates to the chaos of the NBA playoff picture. We cover it all, whether you're here for the happy hour prestige or the spillage where we roast the day's biggest blunders and gambling bad beats. The lounge is your home for sports therapy. Only on the Empty the Bench Network, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB network. We are getting closer and closer and closer. I think we're getting so close I can smell it. I know. But we are getting close, and that is a fact there. So let's get to the show. This is your AEW Double or Nothing review. Actually, not preview. I got a preview coming up after this. But Double or Nothing, that was, I got to be honest, my review of that was what a show. Mad props. Great job by folks at Louis Armstrong Stadium hosting this event. Great job. It got pretty crazy. Sadly, MJF is your AEW World Champion. 39 days after Darby Allin made him his bitch. But yeah, that pretty much puts the storyline involving him and Will Ospreay back on track. Ospreay, of course, beat Samoa Joe in his Owen Hart Cup Tournament quarterfinal match. He will now be facing Mark Davis, who beat Jungle Jack Perry on Dynamite. The other thing, of course, Athena won, beating Mina Shirakawa in their Owen Hart Cup Tournament quarterfinal match. Still talk about who is Alex Windsor going to face this coming Wednesday on Dynamite. Amongst other things, we don't know. I mean, many are saying it's going to be Mercedes Moné. Could be someone else. There are people out there saying Athena should win the Owen Hart Cup. No, she doesn't. I'm going to put it out there right now. No, I don't think so. If you're going to have Athena win the Owen Hart Cup Tournament, this is the condition that it has to be like this. She needs to drop the goddamn Ring of Honor Women's World Title. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There is none. Other stuff, Jon Moxley finally got his lick back against Kyle O'Reilly in a Continental title match with no time limit. long-term storytelling there. And of course, now the focus can shift elsewhere for Mox and the Death Riders. Konosuke Takeshita, new international champion. He beat the Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada, but then Takada loses his bestie, Kyle Fletcher. And I think they're going to have a match this Wednesday on Dynamite. So that feud, that's going to be interesting to see. I wonder if it's going to go all the way to All In. I don't know. We'll see, though. We'll definitely see. Double or Nothing, definitely a really, really, really good show. I mean, a lot of people I knew and I watched it. You know, I think a lot of us are in agreement that it was a really, really good show. A very, very good show. Very impressed. Now this, of course, is the beginning of we're starting the beginning of Forbidden Door. Certain individuals are going to be popping up, like Hazuki, who's in the Owen Hart Cup tournament, got a match coming up, is on Collision tonight against Maya. I think it's Maya World. It's going to be on tonight. It was going to be on AEW Collision. So here's all of that. Double or Nothing. I think many people are saying it should definitely keep this up in New York at Louis Armstrong Stadium. Look, I'm one of those idiots who thinks that a premium AEW pay-per-view event should be at Madison Square Garden. Of course, if James Dolan wasn't such a cheapskate and didn't give a damn about money, what can you do about it? What can you honestly do about it? I do not have a clue on that one. So there you go. And now we're going to get to a big one coming up. Here it is. And Clash in Italy coming up tomorrow in, I think it's Milan, Italy, or Torino. It's one of those. I did not pay attention. I just know it's in Italy. Sorry. But here it is. I have the full card on my phone here. Of course, 2 of these matches are going to be free on ESPN. One of the big matches, I'm just not going to go in a particular order. I'm going to go to one of the matches. This is basically 4 title matches on this card. One is a non-title match. The non-title match is Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar. Second time these two are going to face each other. And look, Obafemi got the big win at WrestleMania Night 2. It was, sure, a squash match, but it was an unforgettable squash match. That is the truth of the matter here. It is an unforgettable squash match and that really, I think, has really made people notice Obafemi, really see what he's all about. And of course, since sometimes I can't tell the difference between what is real and what is not in terms of kayfabe, the retirement, I think, was just Brock Lesnar taking time off now that I look back on it. But, and I don't think if Lesnar's going to retire, I don't think he wants Gunther ending his career. I'll get to Gunther later in this, during this topic. But the first hour is going to be on ESPN of this event, and Obafemi and Brock Lesnar are going to be on this card. And they're going to battle each other. Do I think Oba wins? Oh my God. I really do not honestly know. I really don't. I really do not have any clue on that one. Excuse me. But it's going to be on ESPN, and that's going to be another one. That's going to be another match that's going to start this off. Why this is not part of a co-main event, I don't get it. This is Cody Rhodes versus Gunther, WWE Undisputed Championship on the line. Gunther, of course, he's the so-called career killer, longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. Pretty much 85% of his time in WWE has been spent with gold around his waist. Let's just face it, I don't think Gunther's going to win this. I really don't. Unless you want to push it a little further, you want to keep this feud going, you don't have Gunther win this title. You really don't. Because after what had happened with him losing the World Heavyweight title to Jey Uso at WrestleMania last year, then getting it back maybe a couple or so months later before he ultimately lost to CM Punk at SummerSlam, and then, there's everything else going on and so forth and so on. But Gunther needs a break from the damn titles. I'm sick of him holding gold. I mean, I really am. I'm just tired of him. I'm bored of him. So I gotta say, as much as I know people criticize Cody for his refusal to turn heel, and I'm perfectly fine with him never turning heel. I don't mind him showing signs of being a so-called, what they call a tweener. He's not a good guy, but he's not a bad guy either. I don't mind that at all. The other thing is, I know people are PO'd and they're just going to, you know what? Stay mad. Stay mad because Cody's going to retain his championship. He's not losing to Gunther. He is not losing to Gunther. That's one title match on the card. The other one, of course, is Becky Lynch putting the women's Intercontinental title against the new gal on the main roster block. That is Sol Ruca. Supposedly, Sol Ruca got hurt during Saturday night's main event. Becky Lynch opened her big mouth and said Sol wasn't going to be there, but reports are Sol is in Italy. I think I saw some stuff on her Instagram. She's enjoying good Italian food, enjoying some Italian food, some Italian drinks. Maybe enjoying a little limoncello. Maybe sipping espresso, that sort of thing. But but supposedly Sol supposedly legitimately got hurt, but based on what I have been reading online from like Fightful.com, which I know isn't always reliable, but it has its moments. Sol Ruca is going to be there, and I don't think the injury is that bad. But if it was that bad, she wouldn't be here. She wouldn't be there in Italy getting ready to see if she can beat Becky. I think she will beat Becky. I think Becky loses the title, but she's going to put Sol over, really allow the spotlight to shine brightly on her. Another match on the card is Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill, WWE Women's title on the line. Again, look, I know Jade Cargill created the baddies and all that other stuff. Get over it. You are not winning this title back. I'm sorry. I know it has been 2 months since WrestleMania. I don't see Rhea dropping that championship anytime soon. Because here's the thing, Jade, you tell BFAB and Mia Yim to keep their asses parked in the back. Because you're not walking out of Italy with the gold, Jade. Rhea is. Rhea's going to retain. I think Rhea retains. The main event, I think this is the main event. There is a lot of uncertainty involving this main event, which is Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu in, please excuse the attempt at this impression here, Tribal Combat! Yeah. KB! Breaking news, Jacob is out and will be replaced by a plated Garfield lasagna Tribal Combat. Leave it to KB to come up with something like that. It's brilliant. It is just brilliant. Jacob Fatu got hurt in a match against, I think it was Solo Sikoa at a house show in Liverpool, England. But if he's there, I don't know. And if the reports are true about Roman not being booked for any television or Night of Champions in the month of June, I almost think, I wish I could say it may be better for Roman to drop the title. But knowing WWE booking like I do, when it comes to him, I don't think they're going to have Roman losing Tribal Combat. It doesn't matter. This feud is probably going to keep going. If, say, Jacob loses, they'll probably build the feud up to possibly SummerSlam, maybe in Minneapolis. I'm not sure. But if Roman retains, the feud continues. If Jacob wins and finally becomes World Heavyweight Champion, then I think he keeps going until maybe SummerSlam. Then if Roman's taking a significant amount of time off, and not just June, like I mentioned, but going into July. I mean, I had hoped Roman would be more of a fighting champion than he was in his 3+ year reign as WWE Undisputed Champion. I don't know. But if I had to pick, I mean, this is tough. I like Jacob Fatu, but Roman is the man. I will be happy to take KV. I really hope you can handle Tribal Combat, because Roman, if I think you've watched enough Roman Reigns matches to know this man will go completely feral. I mean, he will go completely crazy. Roman will, but I know Jacob will too. But But there's that. So, oh my God. Clash in Italy. That will be tomorrow. If you're here in the United States, it's 2 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 11 a.m. Pacific if you want to check it out. So on ESPN and ESPN Unlimited. So that is one thing. Another thing came up, and this was very surprising, is AEW is looking to add more promotions to myaew.com to kind of give fans more, kind of like more bang for your buck, pretty much. And one of the things that they did do, and I later read this, was, let's see if I can pull it up. There it is. They already have 1FW Wrestling, which is QT Marshall's promotion that can be... You can be all gas, no brakes with it. Oh, God, I love you, man. I love you, dude. Oh, Jesus. But like I said, 1FW Wrestling is QT Marshall's promotion. That's going to be on myaew.com. They're trying, like, AEW is trying to expand that streaming services programming options. So one of the things that did happen, and this is why New Japan Pro Wrestling is mentioned in this banner, was they have announced that their streaming service, New NJPW World, will no longer stream AEW shows for users in Japan. Of course, AEW content available to users in Japan comprising editions of Dynamite, Collision, Rampage, and Battle of Belts no longer available, but New Japan Pro Wrestling, starting in July, will have content streaming on myaew.com, which I think is pretty cool because as far as I'm concerned, that is definitely something that I feel is necessary because I feel like myaew.com, it did just recently launch, so you need to put in more content. I'd love to see other promotions get an opportunity. Like, I mean, maybe Game Changer Wrestling, GCW, could have content on myaew.com if they wanted to. We'll see what Brian Lauderdale and Joey Janela have to say about that. I'm sure they'd be interested. I'm sure they would be very interested in that. I know I'm intrigued. I'd like to see that. First of all, I got to say hi to the 100 people watching me live. Hey, everybody. Hope you're enjoying the show. Here's your next topic. Yes. I know I spelled the word expressing incorrect, but here, I will do a minor spelling correction here. Don't mind me. There we go. Now I show it again. There it is, proper spelling and all that other stuff. Oh, no, what? I have a good feeling we could be getting Wrestle Kingdom 2026. Yes! That's a good one, KB. I think so, too. That might be possible. I definitely think it's more highly likely now. I think that's what I'm thinking right now. But back to WWE expressing interest in a tag team they had just wanted to discard, but once they found out the contract was expiring, started having Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler winning championships. Now WWE, like a bunch of morons that they are, have expressed interest in FTR after they have left the company and had success outside of the company. They're expressing interest. And I find that to be annoying. It's like, you didn't care about them before. Why do you give a damn about them now? Well, here it is. According to Bodyslam.com, WWE has shown preliminary interest in FTR through mutual contacts. This is as the contract FTR signed with AEW in 2023 approaches its option year in 2027. If Tony Khan is smart, and I like to think that he is a very smart businessman, he picks up that option and FTR stays with AEW through 2027, because let's face it, these guys have had incredible success in AEW's tag team division. Really, they're the consistent, hardworking tag team, along with, the Young Bucks, clearly the current champs, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. You've got other teams that are starting to rise up, make that tag team division more exciting. And FTR is one of those people is making AEW's tag team division really good, and they are really good. And I think Dax and Cash I think it is best they stay in AEW, because I don't want to see these guys get lost in the shuffle in WWE, especially with the fact that hold on a minute. Stay away, FTR. You are going to be in a feud with the Missing Kid Wilson or the Vision Run FTR. Yes. Yes, and I will, KB, the Vision is in the show. I will get to the situation involving the Vision, or at least one member of the Vision. He's actually coming up next. But yeah, I'm with KB on this. FTR stay in AEW. That's all I gotta say. Definitely one of the steady, consistent teams in AEW's tag team division. They need to stay. That's all I gotta say about it. All right, KB mentioned the Vision. Well, one member of the Vision is injured. That's right. Logan Paul suffered a torn triceps, and he's going to be out for an estimated 6 months. If you followed this dude on social media, this SOB showed off what his torn tricep looked like, all bruised and shit. He had surgery to fix it. Okay, first of all, ew, gross, by the way. Oh, not to mention you're going to get the New Day. And oh, yeah, back to the FTR situation. Not to mention you got the New Day and the Motor City Machine Guns coming in. Why would you leave? Exactly. I mean, I'm sure FTR want to go up against Kofi and Austin Creed. And I'm sure they'd like to throw hands with Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. I mean, there's no question about it. No question in my mind about it. There's definitely that. A good point by KB there. But yeah, Logan Paul, ew, gross, by the way. You showing off your damn arm and putting FML, fuck my life, your surgical scar. And then you're being Mr. Braggadocious by saying you're not going to be out for an estimated 6 months. Buddy, if I were you, I would listen to your fucking doctors. Listen to them. If they say don't do shit for X amount of time, you listen to them. Because if you rush back, that injury might get worse and it could possibly end your wrestling career. Then what's going to happen to you then? Are you going to join your brother Jake Paul and MVP Promotions? By the way, Ronda Rousey. I'll get to that some other time. But Logan Paul, listen to your doctors. Relax. Or pretty much Aaron Rodgers might have something to say about that.
RELAX.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Definitely. Relax. Enjoy your time with your wife and your baby girl. And let your tricep heal first before you get back in the fucking ring, buddy boy. If I'm Logan Paul, that is very practical, KB. If Logan Paul were smart, he would come back until the Royal Rumble, because you want to make sure... come on. Any muscle in your arm, like your tricep, your bicep, any tendon, you don't fuck with that. And you don't rush back from it either. By the way, as a result of Logan Paul's triceps injury, Braun Breaker stepping in, and he and Austin he's now part of the tag team champions division. So there you go. Another big one that came in. That's right. You've been hearing AEW Redemption. You've been wondering what it's about. Well, it's officially a pay-per-view. It's going to take place July 26th in Montreal, Canada. I think it's going to be awesome. And it's definitely something that I think is going to be great. But yeah, it does mean we have more pay-per-views if you're an AEW fan. The thing is, with this, just like any other pay-per-view, you got to book it carefully and you got to make sure everything comes together and it makes sense. You definitely got to do that. So I feel as though this is really going to be something. I think if booked right, I think the people of Montreal are going to be in for a real treat. This makes me wonder, though, since they are having a match for the TNT Championship, is there a possibility Canada's own speedball Mike Bailey might walk into this pay-per-view as TNT champion? We shall see. We shall definitely see. I am excited about this. And I know it's going to be, you're going to have Forbidden Door on June 20th, this pay-per-view July 26th, and then you're going to have Forbidden Door, or not Forbidden Door, All In London. That's the one I definitely have marked on my calendar, August 30th, no question about it. So there's that. There's definitely that. So that to me, if you are a wrestling fan in Montreal, I hope get hype. Get hype for this. Canada gets 2 pay-per-views in the same year. Like, sorry, I got Terrence and Phillip from South Park on the brain. I'm sorry, but yeah, they're getting 2 pay-per-views. I don't know. All right. Another bit of big news came in, and this one I just was not expecting this at all. This was one that kind of I think a good number of wrestling fans. I mean, KB, if you're still watching, I wonder if this blew your mind right here. That's right. Former WWE wrestlers Big Damo, real name Damian Mackel, and his real life wife Nikki, who we knew as Nikki Cross, they acquired Progress Wrestling. What they also did, ironically, they also are now part owners of the Washington State-based wrestling promotion, Defy Wrestling. Defy is most commonly associated. If you've watched videos, some AEW talent work a lot with Defy Wrestling. Swerve Strickland is clearly the face of that promotion. Marina Shafir is that promotion's women's champion. But Progress is one of the UK's premier indie wrestling promotions, and these two, under the ownership of both Big Damo and Miss Nikki, it should be. I hope they have really good ideas to hopefully help both promotions grow and continue to attract top name talent for their wrestling shows or something like. They need. Hopefully, they have a lot of good ideas because both these promotions are big. And both of them are big. Like I said, Defy is in the Seattle, Washington area. Swerve Strickland is the face associated with that promotion. Progress is, like I said, one of the top promotions in the UK. Ironically, Big Damo did wrestle for Progress Wrestling before he went to WWE, and he's former men's world champion, tag team champion, Atlas champion, Progress Wrestling. So he's had success there. So clearly that promotion has a special place in his heart. So, and then they also released a statement that said, "We're delighted to be the new co-owners of Progress. We both started in the UK and Ireland and fully believe this is host to the greatest talent pool on earth, and Progress is well positioned to showcase this generation and the next generation. We are also very excited to be the new co-owners of Defy Wrestling, home to the most feverish fan base in the Pacific Northwest. Nikki and I have an affinity with Seattle, and I have always had an incredible experience wrestling on the Defy shows in front of the Defiance." And then they thank Martin Best and Lee McAllister, for everything that they have done and so forth and so on. So they're definitely, I think this is really going to be a really huge thing for both promotions because hopefully it brings new and fresh ideas to promotions that I really think not everyone here in the United States knows about. I mean, I'm sure there are those out there, they know about Defy Wrestling. If you're living in the Seattle, Tacoma area, you're probably aware of that one, but, it's not known more on a more wider scale. So I think if Nikki Cross and Big Damo, whatever ideas they have, whether it's, better promotion, better shows, better promotion on social media, that sort of thing, I'm all for it. And I wish them the absolute best of luck. So there you go. Another big thing, if you are a big ESPN fan, that's one of them, by the way, and I'm kind of one of them, by the way. Something else ended up coming up, and it kind of, at first it made me laugh, and then I started wondering, is this dude serious? Not that one, this one. Yes, Jay Billis, ESPN's college basketball analyst, former Duke University player, and you see him with the NBA draft. This year's NBA draft is coming. He'll be there most definitely. Great analysis. Oh, AAA has my full attention right now. Mass versus Mass tonight. Yeah, absolutely. I am going to admit I'm going to try and see if I can check that out a little bit there, Jeff. So definitely. By the way, yeah, AAA, they're going to have the Mass versus Mass match tonight. People is, like Jeff said, is going to, hopefully that is going to be a really, really good match. That should be exciting if you're into AAA and the luchador stuff and everything. But back to this one. Jay Billis, like I said, he's big college basketball analyst for ESPN. He's going to be at this year's NBA draft like he has been for like forever. An alumni of Duke University. He has expressed interest in hosting a WWE draft. Here's the big issue I have with that. We don't know if there's going to be a WWE draft. If there is, I don't know about this guy. But he did say, quote, I wouldn't say no to that. I love wrestling. I grew up on it. I really enjoyed it when I was growing up, and my favorite was John Talos. But the wrestling I watched feels primitive compared to what we see now. With all the pageantry, it's become this incredible spectacle. Okay. Now, I respect Jay Billis a lot because of his experts, because he has great knowledge, great insight into basketball, whether it's college or the NBA. He's excellent at it. The only thing I'm going to say to him, what did I get this time? WWE can barely handle creative on Mondays and Fridays. How are they going to successfully do it? That's what I want to know, KB. That's definitely what I want to know. But Mr. Billis, sir, I respect you enormously. You are an excellent basketball analyst. Just don't quit stay in your lane. Don't quit your day job. Stick with basketball. You may be a wrestling fan, but let's face it. I don't know. I would say, just like I said, don't quit your day job, dude. By the way, ESPN is not happy with the numbers. Yeah, I've been hearing about that, KB. I have been hearing about it. And if I were ESPN, I would be seriously regretting making a deal with ESPN, because let's face it, it just isn't, to me, it is not a good thing. It has proven to be a disaster. It's definitely proven to be a disaster. Now, I just give a warning here to the 105 people watching me live. By the way, hi, everybody. This next topic I'm going to say, please, and I wish I had the sound effect for Law and Order. Dun dun. I wish I had that, but, I don't. So here we go. Yep, there was a new ruling in the WWE merger lawsuit, and it found that Vince McMahon and company CEO Nick Khan destroyed evidence, and the case is expected to go to trial next month. This is according to Brandon Thurston of Post Wrestling, and he had filed paperwork wanting more information. I think he had filed it under the Freedom of Information Act. I think might have. Ooh. Stephen A. Smith at ESPN has stated he wants to be like Paul Heyman. Oh, my God. I gotta...
Because he's a raw pain in the ass. Because he's a...
No, sorry, Jeff, but Stephen A. Smith... I can't tolerate the guy because... and I can't believe I'm showing you this right now. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. He hates my team. He probably hates me because I'm a fan, even though I am not the most nauseating Cowboys fan in the universe, because, I get mad at I've gotten angry at my team because I feel like they've been very average, lackluster, or as MGF goes, mid, and it's a fact. What are you going to tell me next? First take life aside. Oh, God, no. Please, no. I don't want first take it. It's SummerSlam in Minneapolis. Fuck no. I don't want that. We're going to get back to this. There was a new ruling. Brandon Thurston, he got more information on this. I think he filed it from, under the Freedom of Information Act. I'm having a hard time saying it, and I know it off the top of my head here. But he did post that, it says this was from the 27th, so 3 days ago. It goes, Vince McMahon, Nick Khan sanctioned in the WWE merger lawsuit, heightening their burden to prevail at trial. Ari Emanuel's offered to indemnify McMahon and help with federal investigations presumed by the judge to have influenced the TKO merger. It's a long article, but yeah, Thurston put in 2 challenges and he got it. So let's see if I can. Yeah, here's the thing right here from Brandon Thurston from 3 days ago. He goes, in a new ruling in the WWE merger lawsuit, Vice Chancellor J. Travis Laster found that Vince McMahon and Nick Khan destroyed evidence. As a consequence, the trial will treat 5 damaging facts as presumptively true when the case goes to trial next month. Vince McMahon, Nick Khan, as well as 3 others, Paul Levesque, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, oh shit, and Brad Bloom all used Signal's auto-delete function, which wiped out messages they had a legal duty to preserve. So there's a fuck-up right there. This ruling is a significant setback for the defendants, who are Vince McMahon, Nick Khan, Paul Levesque, George Barros, and Michelle Wilson. No relation to me. Wilson is my married name. just so you know. The case will now be harder significantly for Vince McMahon and Nick Khan to prevail against the shareholder plaintiff's allegations. So, and I wish I had the sound effects, and that's when he realized he fucked up. Yeah, Vince McMahon did seriously fuck up. You're trying to screw over shareholders? You're not supposed to do that. You are really not supposed to do that. I mean, it's a freaking idiot, you know? That's idiotic as far as I'm concerned. That's what I gotta say about the whole Vince McMahon Nick Khan thing destroying evidence.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yeah, it stinks. And Vince McMahon is saying, if I'm going down, I'm taking a whole family with me and half the company. Yeah, good luck. Yeah, Vince McMahon, he is greedy, nasty, senile. I mean, look, I get when in 1982, when Vince McMahon bought the company from his father. Let's be completely honest about this. It's so, I just feel it's ridiculous beyond anything. You just don't do shit like that. I mean, maybe what I get this time. I remember that 2002 when Vince said he's going to kill his own creation. That's exactly what he's doing. So, yeah, he is. But I'm just hoping the law steps in and goes, nope, time out, buddy. That isn't going to happen. So, but shout out to Brandon Thurston, who put this in. He did file 2 challenges for some more information. He said thousands of pages are already released from my 2 challenges, which we've already reported on. Recently, WWE asked to withhold some material, including voice memo audio from Ari Emanuel and Vince McMahon. I opposed. The judge denied WWE's motion. That material should be filed soon. This was yesterday. And of course, if you want to go to wrestlenomics.substack.com, and there's more on that. But Brandon Thurston continued with the challenges were submitted under the court's Rule 5.1G, which allows any person to challenge the sealing of filings in Delaware Chancery Court. The filings on the challenge processes themselves are available. Brandon Thurston challenges WWE, KKR's motion, that sort of thing. So check that. If you are, you want to be a lawyer, or if you are one of those legal TV fanatics and you love this sort of stuff, you can go ahead and check it out. I already gave you the address to the email thing, which is wrestlenomics.substack.com if you want to check that out. So, that was lengthy. And now we're going to get into more legal stuff, but it is not involving in a courtroom involving a lawsuit. Yeah, Curtis Axel. Oh, God. This guy has fallen. He was recently arrested on May 17th, and he was charged with third-degree driving while impaired, the DWI. Refusal to submit to a chemical test. I think that's a breathalyzer. Let's see. That's it. I have an idea. Vince versus Triple H WrestleMania next year. Oh, my God. It'd be a great idea, KB, but I don't think Vince can wrestle anymore. He's really getting up there in age. It really is. But back to this. Jeez. Okay, Curtis Axel got busted May 17th. He's been charged with third-degree driving while impaired, refusal to submit to a chemical test, obstructing the legal process, possessing an open bottle of alcohol inside the vehicle, and failure to stop after an accident involving property damage. And he was released. He was in custody for 2 days, and he was released May 19th. So I don't know when his trial date is going to be. But, Jesus. I got one right here.
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
You heard what Jim Carrey said. Stop breaking the law, asshole. Look, clearly, I don't know what to say about Curtis Axel. He's had some success. He's had good matches against people. Someone said, yeah, he was in the 2015 Royal Rumble. Let's be clear. Was he really good? You know, I don't know. What did I get this time? So many wrestlers getting arrested. Keep this up. WrestleMania 44 will be like Rikers Island. Possible. So you can put Curtis Axel in there. And the next guy I'm going to talk about, he can also get put in there, KB. You can definitely put him in there. This is nuts. It was just nuts. But yeah, he needs to get his act together. I don't know. I'm going to look up real fast Curtis Axel. I don't think he is wrestling anymore, and as far as I know. There we go. Yeah. My God, and he was in WWE for 13 years and 46 years old. I mean, goddamn. Yeah, and ironically, next generation star, Mr. Perfect. He had success, he said he had success. He's won yeah. He won the WWE Intercontinental title once. He then joined up with Bo Dallas as the B team. They were the Miz's henchmen for a bit, and then they broke out on their own and ended up winning the Raw Tag Team titles. And he was still WWE transitioning to a producer role in 2022. I think he's been out since 2022. The main event will be Cody versus Curtis Axel or a pack of noodles and extra shock. Oh God, KB, really? Ah, shit. That's nuts. There's another one in the file of wrestlers who decide to be idiots. Ludwig Kaiser, who has taken on the El Grande Americano role. We know Chad Gable's back. We know Chad Gable is back, and he calls himself the original or the OG El Grande Americano. I mean, now this whole situation, he got busted. It was him and his girlfriend, and I think if it's Andrea or Andrea, who I guess they were, I don't know, making out in the okay, yeah, it was an arrest in Orange County, Florida. It was a battery charge against someone in an altercation. And then supposedly the story is Ludwig Kaiser and his girlfriend, I think her name is Andrea, if that's how you pronounce it, or Andrea, were supposedly making out and were being very affectionate with each other or engaging in PDA in an elevator, or if you want to get a little bit more graphic, they were making out. Supposedly someone got kind of sickened by it, I guess. I don't know. And he made some inappropriate, I think he made some rude comment or something like that. He and Kaiser got into it. Here's one thing that was very surprising when I read this and got a little bit more into it. The person who actually bailed Ludwig Kaiser out of jail was Gunther. Now, I can talk shit about Gunther as a wrestler all I want. Gunther as a person, clearly he and Ludwig Kaiser are friends, and he was there for him and everything. Yeah, here it is. He was arrested in Orlando on a misdemeanor battery charge following an altercation in an apartment at his apartment complex. Neighbor, according to what I'm reading right here, the neighbor said that Kaiser attacked him after he asked him and his girlfriend Andrea to show some manners regarding the behavior in an elevator. However, subsequent reports clarify the altercation occurred after the neighbor allegedly directed derogatory and racist insults toward, I think this is her full name, Andrea Barzardi. And Ludwig didn't react well to those comments. He went off on the guy, supposedly. But he was released on $1,000 bond, paid for by his good buddy, Gunther. Now, like I said, I can criticize Gunther as a wrestler. I can criticize him for being, just selfish and all that, and ending careers and that sort of thing. But the man who brings him to life in the ring, Walter Hahn, seems like a really good guy and was willing to be there for his friend. So, I give Gunther props for that. I think Ludwig Kaiser needs to get his shit in order in terms of this, so that when he comes back to the ring, there's no distractions or anything like that. So, but I gotta say, I may talk shit about you, Gunther, but sir, I salute you for being there for your buddy, Ludwig Kaiser. So there's that. Oof. Another thing that ended up coming up, and this is where it gets a little bit, it's, I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. But here we go. Looks like Hollywood has some interest in Natty Neidhart's book, The Last Heart Breathing, that she released several months ago. Hollywood is interested in probably adapting her memoir into something else. Maybe, I don't know about a movie. Maybe I'm thinking, I don't know about a movie. Maybe a television series. I don't know. That would be really cool. Or you could do a docu-series, something like that. I think the one thing that, Natty and her family need to be careful of with this is make sure you find a really good production company and really work with good people who really are interested in bringing your story to life on the screen, whether it's in a film or a TV series or a docu-series. But clearly this book, The Last Heart Breathing and why it's spelled, she is, if you listen to one of my episode of Benchmarks on Owen Hart, Owen Hart is Natty's uncle. So is Bret the Hitman Hart. He was part of the tag team, the Hart Foundation, with Natty's father, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, in case you were not aware. She had another uncle, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, who was in wrestling. She's in wrestling. Her husband, TJ Wilson, formerly Tyson Kidd, was a wrestler. He now works backstage as a producer. Her cousin, Harry Smith, the British son of the British Bulldog, he's wrestling. When does he? I don't know. There's others in the Hart family. So wrestling is in their blood, I guess you could say. And she, of course, wrote her memoir. People have been interested in her story and everything like that. So she wrote The Last Heart Breathing, and I think it became a bestseller and all that stuff. And it's definitely getting Hollywood attention. So we'll see what happens with that. But I know if they do anything, I mean, what network would I like it to be on? I mean, if it's a movie, put it out in theaters. If it's a TV series, yes. I know WWE is doing their thing with Netflix with Monday Night Raw and all the pay-per-views that came out before WWE PLEs went to ESPN. So that's definitely something. Yeah. The 107 people. Hey. She runs the dungeon now from Florida. They don't have the old home in Canada anymore. I was kind of aware. I was pretty aware of that. And she and her husband, TJ Wilson, decided to start their version of the Heart Dungeon from their home in Florida. I've seen video footage of, say, Liv Morgan's has been there. I think Bailey's worked with Natty and TJ in the dungeon. And they're in the dungeon. Other wrestlers, like indie wrestlers, I think, have gone in there and work with them. And I've heard nothing bad about how Natty and TJ do things in their version of the Hart family dungeon. So there's all that. So I'm going to get to one part now. This should be a dead giveaway. If you follow the show on Instagram, I kind of showed off a shirt. There she is. And surprise, she's my wrestler of the week, Kris Statlander. Oh yeah. This woman, she's been the Galaxy's Greatest Alien. She's been the Cosmic Killer. All this other stuff. She is unbelievably talented. I know that if she had not suffered from a knee injury early on in her time in AEW, she probably would be AEW Women's World Champion. But, she had her injuries. She tried comebacks. She teamed up with Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, and Trent Beretta as part of Best Friends. That ended up falling apart. She came back. Of course, I have a picture in my office here, or studio, whatever you want to call this space that I'm in right now, that unfortunately has a big shoe rack in here that has a lot of shoes amongst other shit. Don't mind that. But I have a picture up on my wall in front of me. I'm looking at it right now. It's Kris Statlander from Double or Nothing 2023, when she came back and beat Jade Cargill for the TBS title, ending that 504-day reign. And Statlander has made history. She is so far the only woman to hold both the TBS title and the AEW Women's World title. We know she beat Toni Storm for that. Had some good matches and so forth until she ran into Tekla. But part of the reason she's my Statlander's my wrestler of the week. Sure, she lost the Fatal 4-Way, ate the pin. Tekla pinned her in that match, retained the title. Whoop-de-doo. Goes into a match this past Wednesday on Dynamite against Hikaru Shida, who was also part of the Fatal 4-Way at Double or Nothing. They had a match, the street fight match, and this part really blew me away. Shida thought she had Statlander when she put her hit her with the Falcon Arrow, pins her, and Statlander kick out, lands on her feet, jumps up, just lands on her feet, and has the most menacing look on her face. And I'm like, oh my god! But holy crap, she is, to me, Statlander. I think should be AEW Women's World Champion again. I think at some point down the line, I know the company is super high on Tekla. We really do not honestly know who's going to win the Owen Hart Cup tournament on the women's side to possibly face Tekla Double or Nothing. There's even the possibility Tekla might not be the champion going into that event. It could be Statlander, as far as I know. Anything is possible. But I have always liked Statlander. I didn't like her heel turn when she turned on Willow and had Stokely Hathaway whispering absolute bullshit in her ear. I didn't like that. I did like the fact after Willow won the TBS title on New Year's Smash on New Year's Eve, Statlander was there. They hugged it out. And I'm sure backstage they were whooping it up and having a lot of fun. And I'm just glad on screen they reunited, because as far as I'm concerned, these two should not be fighting at all. They should not be facing each other. Unless the situation calls for it and they don't have a choice in the matter. But Kris Statlander, to me, she's terrific. I have always been a fan of hers. I always liked her. I always felt like she's deserved everything. TBS title when she beat Jade, and then the women's world title. I think she's going to get that women's world title back at some point, like I said. But Kris Statlander. Yep. Wrestler of the week. Now this one, I couldn't believe I did this. So I thought, I am going to be doing something for the first time in this program that I've never honestly done before. So here it is. For the first time in the history of this program, which has been on since August 24th, 2025, he is the first wrestler I've had who's been both Wrestler of the Week, and now he's in the Roaster Wrestler segment. Yeah. Why am I roasting Kevin the Jet Knight? Well, let's see here. Besides the fact he did a heel turn on Darby Allin, which I thought was absolutely fucking stupid. There was no need for that. I felt like if you were going to turn this dude heel, wait a little bit longer, because the timing isn't going to feel right either way. I'm sure it was necessary for him to turn heel. But what you ended up doing, Tony Khan, and if this was Roasting Executive, your ass would be mine and I'd be obliterating you, first of all, despite the enormous amount of respect that I have for you, TK. All right, back to Kevin the Jet Knight. Okay, we get it. We know what the deal with him is. He's a former two-time AEW Trios champion. He and Speedball Mike Bailey were Trios champions first, with Hangman Adam Page. Second, with Mystico. And then the Jet became TNT champion, saving his buddy Speedball from Kevin Garcia's excruciating submission move that I'm sure Speedball's back was on fucking fire. But at Double or Nothing, you turned on Darby Allin. You did a heel turn. You attacked Darby. Why? I don't know. And if you come up with some shitty-ass excuse, which I think you did on Dynamite, I don't buy it for 1 second. I think that was just... What did Darby ever do to you? What did he do? And then this past Wednesday on Dynamite, Speedball Mike Bailey comes out and he wants to know why. He seriously wants to know what the deal is. Well, you ended up attacking him, Kevin. That's a guy you two should have been tag team champions, because Jet Speed provided element of excitement. But you decided to throw it away because you decided that being an asshole is actually way better than being a good guy. Let's just face facts here, Kevin. You got, I say, Swerve Strickland fed your ego a little bit. And I don't know if you felt like other people were stealing the limelight from you. Dude, you're the TNT champion. The spotlight is on you. Why go after Darby Allin? Why? Because he was nice to you and decided to give you a championship, but then he goes and beats your ass anyway? If that's it, if that's the reason why for you to attack him like you did, you know what? You're fucking full of it. That's a bullshit move on your part there, dude. And the other thing, why attack Speedball Mike Bailey? That dude is stuck by you pretty much for a good amount of time, for like several months. Heck, you even upset Speedball's wife, Veda Scott. Check out Speedball Mike Bailey's vlog on YouTube on that. You'll hear what he has to say when the heel turn happened, because I think it's in his one of his latest vlog posts that he has. But now, I hope and pray to God, Kevin, that Speedball karate kicks your fucking ass and takes that TNT title from you. Because let's face it, I'm sure you think it's like, oh, the grass is greener on the other side. Dude, sometimes that's not always the case, and you need to realize that. There's no doubt in my mind you're going to be an AEW World Champion someday. I don't think now is the time for you, sir. So, Kevin the Jet Knight, I like you enormously. You're charming, you're charismatic, you got great moves in the ring, but this heel turn, first beating up Darby Allin and then attacking Speedball, that's unforgivable in my opinion, dude. Very unforgivable. I really did not want to do that to him, but you know, what can you do what can you do about it? You know, what can you do? Okay. La, 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 la. Here we go. There is the ticker right there. Do all this stuff. Follow this show. Follow this network. Follow me on social media. Another one. Like I said, follow Between the Ropes at BTRETB on social media. All that good stuff. And then, of course, the big one, of course, youtube.com/ETB network. Like I say all the time, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. Check out ETB Lounge tomorrow with Nick D and Callan McClurg. You can also check out, of course, if you've seen Nick Morgansen's new short series called Blowing the Whistle, check it out. And also, you can check out all the other shows. We've got, of course, World Cup Soccer's coming along, and we got a lot of stuff coming up for that, especially since it's such a huge deal. It is a really, really big deal. That is definitely for sure. Check out, of course, on June 10th, Empty the Pitch, which is on the World Cup. And I know Callan McClurg and Trevor Williams are going to have some shows and stuff. And also keep your eye out on Benchmarks. We got more audio episodes coming up soon. And we got more that are going to be coming down the pipe. So thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you to the 110 people watching me live right now. Thank you, KB. Thank you, Jumping Jeff Farmer, for all your comments in the chat. Thank you so much for that. And I will see you folks next week with a brand new episode of Between the Ropes. Have a nice day, everybody.